before we get started, the fact that Friga is playing against future NBA talent and he's holding his own, being competitive, that just shows you that Friga got game. Now let's get straight to this breakdown, man. I think it's the second play defensively, right? Boom, peep that right there by Friga. You see the size disadvantage, the height, the length, all that. But that right there just shows you Friga's functional strength as a hooper. Now there's a huge difference between being strong and being functionally strong. Being functionally strong in basketball is being able to do things like that. When players lower their shoulder, hit you with that bump, but you're able to stay in place and stay on balance and absorb all that contact. Now you see this major length advantage, right? 6'7" versus 6'2", also translates to the wingspan, right? But if Friga wants to get any of these shots off, he's going to have to make sure Rivera gets that hand down so he can be able to get into his pickups, boom, get it right over the top. And so on this one, he just used a little bit of different rhythm. But what I'd like to see Friga had done a little more is get into that jab game. He put the ball on the floor, he dropped the hand right there, but if he used his jab, he could get that same thing done damn near every time. And right there, that right foot pivot. At this point, I ain't gonna lie, I thought Rivera was cooked. I ain't think he was gonna score this. Boom, that's tough. That's tough. Off the glass though, he missed that shot by 2 feet, but there's a backboard for a reason. So that right foot pivot though, keep that in mind. And right there, another cross. Then now he started really cook up. He was like, okay, I'm getting buckets now. I'm here. But now, with so much length and so much size, right? He doesn't have to sell his crossover like a smaller guard would. Since he could cover so much ground with his size, he's able to just take this one step, and the distance that he covers alone sells the move instead of having to get to angles like smaller players. Because Pete, all that distance he covers, he might have traveled. But boom, at the end of the day, he got his bucket. That's tough. 2 buckets in a row, right? 2 buckets in a row. Get the crowd going. You know, got the butterflies out. Boom. 3 buckets in a row and 1. But peep this right here by Moon. Yep. You heard him. See if he got that same stupid ass cross. Force him left, right? Great advice by Moon. But Friga's got to stay disciplined on these, though. Peep again, that right foot pivot. Peep it once again. Ended up getting a somewhat clean look off, but it was uncomfortable. But he could have had this easily, but he had that right foot pivot. So peep this off the rip through, right? Peep it. Look where he's gonna take that first step off that rip through. Wide. And even though he took this step laterally, Friga already opened up his base. So say he got used to being able to rip over that top foot with his right foot as a pivot and go straight downhill, he would have had that angle, boom, easy bucket going right. But since he's uncomfortable with that right foot pivot as a right-handed player, he took that step out wide, and now he's not able to get straight downhill and be able to get to the bucket like he would want to. Now Friga's still playing him left a little bit. Force him left. All you got to do with these talented players, the only thing you're really trying to do is make them do something that they're not as good at doing. And for Rivera's case, you've seen he's not as comfortable going left as he is right. 3-2, boom. Friga with the angles. Now peep this. Friga had that first angle, but now after he got that first angle, he told himself, I'm not going to sell it for this first one, and I'm going to make a second one because that first one just wasn't good enough because of all the length that Rivera has. Peep it. Boom. Had this first angle right here. He could have been able to go up and get a lay, but what did he do? Found a second angle, crossed over, and got to that other side of the rim so that Rivera can't use his length to be able to block his shot on that side of the rim and use the rim as protection. Something smaller guards, if y'all watching this, you can really add to your game. Being able to use that rim as your protection. Right there. You see that length too. But that left foot step. That left foot sold the whole thing. Peep it. Right? On this replay. Peep it. So, he's about to make this tween. And that left. He doesn't take that left and decide to step it out wide and get into a side step. He's playing presently, playing in the moment, playing off a feel, which allows him to take that left step downhill, which sells him as a driver. Then, boom. He sees Rivera open up. Side step. Bucket. Easy. That only happens, though, if you're hooping and you're actually making reads. You're not predetermining all your moves. And now Moon. Moon once again. Great advice once again. Moon, W-Mans. Peep. Listen to what he's saying. He gonna jump. You can tell. He gonna jump. He got that size. He's gonna jump. And boom. Now they're starting to add counters to that pump fake as well. Peep. Giving him great advice. Now pump fake. Oh, next time, now get to your step through. Now this is the bucket right after that side step. That's what they said at halftime. Boom. And one off the pump fake. Utilizing the things that they're saying to him, and they're actually working. And it's things that he should do. Now this time, peep that rip through too. Another and one. Friga making his little comeback. Peep it. Look at that rip through, right? So Rivera's got that gap hand, that hand check. But Friga's about to grip underneath it. And what that's going to allow him to do is to eliminate that hand check and that physicality that Rivera has with his hands. Because peep this, right? You get underneath. Now we can no longer try to control your hips, control your body, control where you're going. And now he just has to move his feet and try to beat him to the spot. But Friga gets that angle. Boom, gets straight up. Bucket. 2 straight lays in a row. Six up. 6 up, right? Now, boom. Hey, you try to complain about that carry all you want, but who's really calling the carry nowadays? Let's be honest. Let's be honest, bro. You should have finished that game off. He was up, what, 6-3? Should have finished off that game. Game 2 coming right here, right? We got all 3 today. Hey, Friga looking for that foul, but the thing is, he ain't getting nowhere with those dribbles. So I'm not too mad at them not calling the foul. But look how he's about to respond to that, though, right? Look how he's about to match that physicality. Boom. He has a hand check. He's there. He's physical, right? Boom. Gets him to his stop. This is where you can't allow any player of skill to do. Find an angle, especially going forward. If you get somebody stuck in a position like this, you want to force them to take a shot where they're leaning backwards and they're fading away. Not while they're stepping forward and finding new angles. Because you're just going to be more balanced and a better shooter if you're jumping forward than you are if you're just jumping backwards from a stationary position. And then boom, Friga right there. I'm telling you, like I was saying before, I wish Friga would have used that jab just like he did. Because what a jab will do, it'll turn somebody's contest into dust. So really peep it. Basic jab, left hand up, righty shooter. So a left hand contestant is going to work better. But what does Rivera do? Jab. Now it switches the stance and switches the contest hand. And that right hand is further back than that left. So that shot's going to be more comfortable for him to shoot. Now he gets that literally no hand at all. Just a bucket. Then right here. Peep the timing. Hey, the timing of that rip through by Rivera was the key to that whole play. So notice, right? Gets the catch. Right? And watch Friga. Watch as he's stepping up. As he's trying to close up the space that Rivera created on the catch. He makes his rip through as he's stepping up. That's why it's key for Friga to be able to close up that space as soon as Rivera creates it. Because if you try to close it up too late, he's going to do something like this and rip right through right here while you're still kind of in the air and moving. So what is Friga going to do on this next dribble? Open up. Has he pull up? No contest. Easy bucket. That was a tough bucket, though. Now he called another timeout. Moon, W-Mans once again. Listen. Force him left. Now listen, right here.
Stand here on the jab. Stand here on the jab. Make him go left and he's gonna go left.
Peep. So pretty much all he was saying is that anytime he gets into that jab, stay solid on it and really just stay committed to forcing him left. So peep, right? I talked about this a little bit before where I said he's got to be able to close up that gap between him and Rivera when he creates it on the catch right here, right? Great job of doing it. He closed it up, right? He closes it up. But now he's still creating that space. And Friga's got to make sure he's still staying disciplined and not trying to play physical and use his speed to his advantage. Because the more physical you try to play, the less you're able to use your speed. Because now you're trying to play with your weight and play with your size. And now you're not moving your feet as much. But Friga's trying to get a little too physical with a player who's bigger than him. But he's got to really trust his own speed and his own quickness. Once again, closing up that space. But he's not disciplined on it though. He's reaching, he's hand checking, he's trying to do all this other stuff. Play with your feet. You quicker. You'll be able to keep up with him, but as long as you're not trying to be too physical. Now 2 fouls in a row, and now he ends game like that. I ain't gonna lie. If I'm Friga in this situation, I'll have been like, you really gonna end the game off a top of the key 3 like that, bro? You're not gonna get a real bucket. We would have tried to bait him a little bit, but hey, regardless, he got the win. Game 3 right here. All of them. Drive left. Again, Friga's still trying to be a little too physical. Notice the angle that he's able to get going left. So really notice, right? Left drive. He's trying to hand check. He's trying to do all this other stuff, and now he reaches down, gets a foul. You just want him to take a tough shot. Now he gets that and one to start the game off. Pretty sure he rips off a few of them too. And right there, once again, being too physical forces him not to use his feet. Really see this again, right? Really see it again. He opens up as soon as he takes that first dribble. You got the speed advantage. Play to your speed, play to your advantage. Gets all that space because he was so focused on being physical, trying to control where he's going with his hands and whatnot, that he's not even trying to move his feet. And now once he does start moving his feet, he overreacts. Friga could have had this game though too. Now he's going right. But peep that off arm by Rivera. It's a great move. It's like a little like hip swivel movement or whatever. Off the triple threat. May have to add this a little bit too. Peep it. Boom. Peep that left hand right here. Boom. Made Friga open up once again. Now he's playing out of his sprint. For now, Friga at this point, he's in Rivera's control. You make any sort of contact, since Friga broke his stance, boom, it's going to be a foul. And you got refs there, they're going to call it. Then boom right there. Made him go left again. Made him go left. But Pete, this is why sometimes as a player, you've got to be strong when you're making these drives. Because notice this, right? First dribble, second dribble. At this point, some players would say snatch back or boom, try to change direction, step back, something along those lines. They'll give up on the drive. But if you're strong enough as a player, you'll be able to get to this spot right here and know that I could get through this, and I'm just about one dribble away to be able to find my angle. And right here on this third dribble, Rivera finds his angle, boom, gets that inside hand leg. And then right here, peep the pivots too. Peep the pivots too. Easy bucket. But that jab, notice how it affected Friga. Really see it. It's a basic jab too. Forces him to change his base and change his contest hand. You change that contest hand from the left to the right, it's an easier shot for Rivera to shoot, like I said before. Now I say easy bucket, over the top. 7-4 though. Friga may be on the brink of another comeback. But what he did do again though, was that low rip through. Peep it. Really notice how it deactivates Rivera's hands. Really notice. Right underneath. Now he can't try to control his hips, control his core, control his frame, and nothing. He can't do none of that with his hands. Now he just has to move his feet. Now we're seeing who's really quicker. And we're seeing how well do you move as a defender. And now Friga is able to get straight to his spot. Boom. Late hand by Rivera because his hands was in his pockets. He was in the sprint. It's tough to contest. Good bucket by Friga. Right there. Now, I hated this call so much. I hated this so much. I hate this. You really called a foul on the floor in a 1v1 that's in a street ball setting? Come on, man. L ref, bro. Like, really? You really gonna call this? Like, there's no way you could call a foul on the floor. Like, on a drive? What is this? The NBA in the bonus? Come on, bro. No way you say no on the floor. Nigga, this not a high school college game, nigga. This a 1v1 street ball environment setting. You don't call this foul. So to slap this ref upside the head and put the bucket in, man. Now Rivera right here is about to be game time. This is another advantage of just being a taller, lengthier player. When you get into moves like this, these separation moves, you just create more distance because you're just bigger. Your legs are longer. You can step further. Now you get more distance. And anytime you do try to do a crossover, you're covering more distance, which now shows the defender that, oh, he could really get this far down. And the more distance that you cover on your moves with the right angles, the more it's going to sell the defender and make him think that you're going to do something that you're not. So then, boom, notice this cross. All the way at the midline, right? At the nail. Gets all the way over here. Tons of space, man. Friga can't even recover off that. That's tough. Tough bucket. 8-5 right here. Then right there by Friga. I wish I would have seen him stay committed to that base. Last thing. I really wish he would have committed to himself to that base where his left foot is forward and his right foot is dropped back and left hand is staying up there every single time on that contest. Because notice right here, right foot forward, left foot back, which shows you that he's kind of shading to that right. And you see him jab going right. Friga knows he's a threat going right. So what's going to happen when he jabs right? You're going to really commit to that drive and say, okay, I'll live with the shot. But if now you step up, take away the shot, play with that left hand up, and if he does want to shoot, he can shoot it. But I have the best contest hand up there possible. And if you want to drive it, you're going to drive it in the direction at which you're not most comfortable going. But now this is just easy bucket for him. Friga, I definitely believe could have won this game. Definitely. Great game by Rivera. And we about to do some more of these next chapter breakdowns. So make sure you subscribe, like, turn on notifications. Make sure you hit the links in the descriptions to catch some of these live streams where I'm dropping even more gems than I am in these videos. And we out of here.